Today I'm talking about one of my favorite tools in my studio, and that's my guillotine shear. My shear is made by Pepe. I love it to pieces. It is a very sturdy item. It's also very, very heavy. Probably close to 50, 75 pounds when it's all put together. So it's something that's pretty heavy duty. They are rated for about, I think, something like 10,000 cuts before you have to sharpen the blade. It's called a guillotine shear just because of the way guillotines work, where a blade comes straight down and it cuts through whatever is underneath it, in this case my metal. So what I have here, just to demonstrate really quickly, I have a piece of metal. I believe this is 22 gauge, and you can see I've created a couple of marks. These are so that I can cut this metal for cuffs. And that's actually one of the projects that made me want to get a shear in my studio in the first place. I had a piece of 12-inch by 12-inch copper that I was trying to cut with a jeweler's saw. Can't tell you how many blades I went through, and it made it so that the shear was definitely the top of my list for tools. What I've done is I have gone ahead and loaded up my sheet, and I look through the little space that's in here. It's just kind of hard to show you on the video, but I'll look through and I will mark or line up my marks that I've created for my cutting guide on my metal, and I line that up with the bottom plate of the shear. There's a little lever here, and what that lever does is it will lower this brass bar down onto the metal to kind of clamp it into place. From there, you just grab the handle, bring it down and over, and it shears the metal for you. The nice thing about having one of these shears is that when you cut your metal, it's nice and straight. There's no bends, there's no curves. Some bent shears will create a curve as it cuts the metal for you. So that's one of the things that I really like about having the guillotine shear, is knowing that I'm going to have very crisp, clean cuts without deforming my metal. In this case, my metal was only 22 gauge, so it cuts through very, very easily and very quickly. I have been able to cut up to about 14 gauge. I take it a little slower when I do that. 14 gauge is pretty thick, and I don't know that I would go any thicker than 14 gauge with my shear. So, but it's, like I said, it's definitely one of the tools that I like the most in my shop, and I'm so grateful that I bought it. Cost runs probably close to $1,000, particularly when you start to pay for shipping on a tool like this. Like I said, they are quite heavy, so you want to take very good care of them. I do bolt it down onto my surface here, so that way I make sure that nothing is going to move around when I'm trying to make my cut. So there you have it, the guillotine shear.